Welcome, everyone. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. My name is Michelle Grab, and I'm the Assistant Vice President of Student Services, and I will be your moderator today. I'm very excited to introduce you to our panelists who are going to share some information with you about finishing the fall semester and what we expect for the spring here at ASU. We have Dr. Fred Corey, our Vice Provost for Undergraduate Education, who's going to talk about the academic experience. We have Dr. Cassandra Aska, our Deputy Vice President and Dean of Students here at the Tempe campus, who's going to answer questions about all things outside of the classroom on campus. And we have Quinlan Ashlock, who is a student. She's an elementary education major and a junior, and she's going to share her experiences this fall on campus. Just a few housekeeping as we get started. Today's webinar is going to give you information about what we currently expect for the spring semester, as well as some wrap-up details from the fall semester. We are going to continue to offer courses in a variety of learning environments as we did in the fall semester. We're going to be talking about ways to stay engaged over winter break, and as I said, give a preview of the spring semester. The first 20 to 30 minutes will be a discussion around answers to the most commonly asked questions that students have shared with us to date about finishing the fall semester and spring 2021. We will then take live questions from Zoom webinar registrants during the remaining time. We encourage you to ask your questions in the Q&A, but to wait until we get through most of the predetermined questions because your question might already be answered. You can type your questions in the Q&A function. If we don't get to your question live, there are a team of people who will type answers to questions as well while we're talking. And afterwards, we will follow up with anyone we don't get to. Individuals who are watching on the live stream will not be able to ask questions, but you can send your questions to deanofstudents@asu.edu. We're also recording this webinar today, and we'll share it on our website that is giving you information about spring 2021. All right, let's get started. So the first question is going to go to Dr. Corey. Dr. Corey, can you talk about what the academic schedule after Thanksgiving and the end of the semester is going to look like?
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the fall semester. As we have consolidated to conclude the fall semester. Today is Friday. Next week is Thanksgiving. And classes will be held on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday as normal. After Thanksgiving, everything will be remote. So from November 30th to December 4th, which is the conclusion of the fall semester. December 4th is the conclusion of the fall semester. Everything will be remote. That said, for those of you who are on campus and want to use your classroom for its strong internet connection, we are leaving the classrooms open for that purpose. So if you are on campus, you will have access to the classroom so that you can have a good Wi-Fi connection. But the important thing now to remember is that that week of November 30th through December 4th is the conclusion of the fall 2020 semester.
Thank you, Dr. Corey, and I think I went too far on my slides. Apologies about that. Dean Aska, actually, Dr. Corey, this one's for you as well. Can you talk a little bit about the services that are available to students to help them with the end of the fall semester?
Sure. We encourage you to take advantage of all the resources available at the university. So we have tutoring, and we have the writing center, and we have study sessions. So please take advantage of all the services we have. They are available remotely, so you should be able to access these services from wherever you are.
Thank you. The next question is for Dean Aska. So Dean Aska, if people have family in town who want to get tested, are they able to take advantage of ASU's COVID-19 testing while they're in town?
Great question, and appreciate you asking the question, and really am proud to share with our students and their family members that if they are coming to town, Testing is available at no additional cost, and the link to those testing sites are listed at the bottom of this webinar, but you could also go to our ASU website and gain the information. Our on-campus sites are for our students, and we are encouraging all of our students to please test. If they're leaving campus, to go be with you all as family members away from campus to test before they go. But if families are coming here or coming closer to their student, yes, please choose to get tested, and you can visit the locations around the valley that are available, and they are free to you.
Thank you, Dean Aska. So winter break is going to be upon us before we know it, as students finish up their fall classes. And so we are very excited to talk about a new initiative. And so Dr. Corey, can you tell our students and families about Innovation Week and Innovation Quarter?
Incredibly exciting. I would like everybody to go to innovation.asu.edu and see the schedule of activities, which just launched today. So it's hot off the press, as we used to say, and it's really exciting. All right, so what is this all about? So this is a whole set of over 200 different kinds of activities that we invite you to participate in over the winter break. The first week is about the process of innovation itself. What does it mean to be innovative? How do you participate in design thinking? And how do you engage the innovative process of innovation? So those are sequenced events. Then beginning with the second week, December 11th, all the way through January 8th, you will see an incredible range of activities and programs. Some of these programs are related to your career development, like inside view of getting into law school or going to grad school or finding the right internship for, or building up a good resume. There are professional activities. There are also community-based activities where we can improve the quality of life for all of those around us, and information and experiential things on things like the Peace Corps. And then there's just a really thrilling range of intellectual activities where the faculty of the university have come forward to put together presentations on everything from science to humanities, literature, the arts, and we invite you to participate in as many of these programs as you want. There is no charge for our ASU students to participate in these programs. We're very excited about it, and we really want you to see what you can discover during this Innovation Quarter.
Thank you, Dr. Corey. I think we have some examples here as well.
Yeah, okay, that's what we were talking about. Yeah, so there's just, I mean, as I said, there's like 200 different kinds of activities that you can participate in. And it's just a really wonderful opportunity. Innovation.asu.edu. So, and so we want you to sign up so that we can gauge, our audience participation and get information to you. So please go visit the site and have fun. This is going to be a really exciting it's active innovation on the part of ASU to launch an Innovation Quarter.
Great. And just to clarify, Dr. Corey, some of them are one-off things and some are things that are going in, meet a few times, correct?
Correct, yes. Some of them are sequenced, some of them are one-off, as you said.
Great, thank you. Dean Aska, can you talk about dining and Sun Devil Fitness? Are those resources going to be open to students over winter break?
Yes, we know that we have some students who will choose to remain in the residential halls over the winter break. And so we will be transitioning, as we've done in previous years, to our winter break hours of operation for both our Sun Devil Fitness Center and for our dining halls. So students will be able to utilize those resources if they choose to remain here throughout the winter break. Our halls will remain open for those who do need to stay here throughout the winter break, and again, take advantage of Innovative Quarter while they're here with us.
Great, thank you. So now we're going to transition to talking a little bit about what we expect for spring 2021. So Dr. Corey, can you talk a little bit about how the ASU Sync experience will be different in the spring from what students experienced in the fall?
We've invested a lot in the technologies to improve the video or the audio quality in many of the classrooms. So those of you who participated in the classroom experience in the fall may have noticed that some of the rooms, it was very difficult for people who were on Zoom to hear what the people in the room were saying. So we are upgrading rooms with drop mics in order to improve that experience. I think the number one difference between fall and spring is that we're all gaining more experience with these technologies and we're learning how to use them more effectively. I know I can speak for myself that I taught in a room where I had some students in the room and some students were on Zoom. And to be honest, it took me a while to figure out exactly which buttons I should be pushing to make everything work. But I've figured it out. I think that we are all here to learn, right? And I think that students are figuring out what works best for students as well. When you're Zooming in, you need to figure out how you can get a good Wi-Fi connection from your home. And that might be coordinating within the household, how many people are online at the same time using a lot of bandwidth. So I think that together we're all figuring out how we can make this work more effectively.
Great. And I think our photo here is one of our brand new outdoor classrooms. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. We're here in Arizona where the weather is finally beautiful. It's the weather we all love. And so we have created, we're creating outdoor spaces, outdoor rooms where faculty can convene class if the space is big enough and if that works out for the instructor, or study groups and working groups. So we have spaces where we have designated spaces where the Wi-Fi is strong and there would be some protection from the elements. And so we're working on outdoor spaces to enjoy the safety of being outside as well as the comfort.
Great, thank you. Can you talk a little bit about where students can get information about how their class is going to be delivered?
Right. So this is a great question, and this is really important because we want to know how the classes are going to be taught. So courses are offered, and those of you here in the fall know, you can have a course that is ASU Sync / in-person, and that means that you have the option of going to class or attending by Zoom. And that is the default position for all of our classes at ASU. So when you see a class and you see a room number and all classes are available by sync unless there's this note like the one you see here. And of the 12,000 classes, there's only about 250 that carry this note that says this class is not available via ASU Sync. If there is not that note, it's available by ASU Sync, okay? Now, some classes are ASU Sync only, and that's, for example, all of the classes with enrollments over 115 students are ASU Sync only. And that's being done, obviously, for the health and safety of our ASU community, that over 115 would be too many people in a room. So the important thing I want to stress is that unless a course carries this note, you can attend via ASU Sync. So we will tell you if you cannot. So if you're looking for those options, we're trying to build them up for you. I would say register early if you're interested in attending in person. Register early and get the classes where there is an in-person option. And you'll know that when there's a room listed.
Great. This might be a good opportunity to bring in Quinlan. And Quinlan, can you share a little bit about what your class experience has been like this semester?
Yeah, of course. So, as Michelle said at the beginning, I am a junior studying elementary education. So, this year has been a lot of adjusting to online internship for us, teaching students online as teachers around the world are doing now as well. But my in person classes are very exciting this semester. Getting the opportunity to learn how to teach students online and in the classroom is an exciting skill for us. I know the microphones and the technology in the classroom was a struggle at first, but I think just as Dr. Corey said, throughout the year, throughout the semester, the professors have been learning and students have been learning too as well how to adjust to all of the changes that are happening. I'm very honored and eager for the new semester and also happy to be at ASU where we have all this technology and we have the opportunity to still be in person for our classes and have some connection with our professors even during this format.
Thanks, Quinlan. Okay. So our next question is probably for Dean Aska and for Quinlan in that what can students look forward to in the spring in terms of activities and events that are going to be happening?
Absolutely. I think Dr. Corey did a great job talking about winter break, and I know Quinlan's excited to share more with her peers and families about what students can look forward to. As always, we are continuing to monitor the conditions around us, and we will continue to plan both virtual as well as in-person experiences as long as the conditions allow for that. And so our students are appreciative of that attention that we're giving to the different events and activities that we are doing. And we have had some successful in-person outdoor experiences. A couple of weeks ago, we had our first away game viewing parties across all of our locations, and our students came out at 10 o'clock in the morning to cheer on our Sun Devils. And so we're going to continue in that format. We're going to continue to abide by our COVID guidelines, think very critically about what the conditions are and what kind of programs and activities that we can continue to offer our students in person as we continue to deliver a whole host of experiences virtual for them as well. So Quinlan, maybe you could talk about some of the things that are listed here.
Yeah, of course. So just like Dr. Aska said as well, all of these opportunities are available. Most of these opportunities are available online as well as in person. And all of our events do have specific guidelines that we as student organizations follow for each event that is in person. So some of the events that are on this slide and that are available to our students, there are different categories for different events that you can go to over the next semester. Some Live Well events that involve many games. Glowcella has always been a really popular one throughout my years at ASU. I think this is also available in person as well as online. Lots of painting events happening on campus as well. And then, as always, at the Sun Devil Fitness and Wellness Center, we have our small group trainings and group wellness still available for our students. Career events are also, now is a great time to go to career events because there are so many options online, meeting with employers and with ASU alumni that you might not have been able to meet with before. And so this is a really exciting experience to be able to meet with those people online and get those connections made now before you graduate. And then my favorite, of course, all of our cultural and social events on campus and online. Culture at ASU has events every single week, and we have celebrations every week at ASU for different cultures and different ethnicities all around campus that we celebrate each week at ASU. So I encourage you to explore the Culture at ASU website as well. And then for the Program Activities Board and other student organizations on campus, our signature events such as Devilpalooza will be happening in February, a big concert online with virtual in-person options as well. And all of these events can be found on the Sun Devil Sync website. So that's a very important resource for all of you. If you have never been to Sun Devil Sync before, this is where we have a schedule of all of our events, from Live Well events to career events to cultural, social. Any event that happens on campus is on that website, and that's where you can register for those events and get involved in any of our organizations as well.
Right. We definitely want our students to get connected and meet their peers and meet new people as well. We know that's important for them and they like doing that. And so some other experiences that have been really successful that we're going to continue to carry through the spring semesters are tabling events. And those are just opportunities for students to connect and learn more about a whole host of events and activities that may exist within the university environment. Also, our community service events. Our students really like to get out there and do something positive for the community. And so, again, small groups of individuals abiding by our guidelines, being able to engage and to give back in that particular way has been something that our students have vocalized that they've enjoyed. The other popular experience that we have at the university, and students are still doing a tremendous job, and that's our Ignite event. And our students get to have a TED-like talk experience, and they share their stories and things that they're passionate about. And while that gets broadcasted broadly through our technology, it also provides an in-person experience for our students. So we're going to continue to make those opportunities available for our students and encourage them to participate at whatever level that they want to do at, but we're going to make it available for our students.
Great, thank you. Dr. Corey, the next one is for you. Is spring break canceled? I know it's a popular question these days.
And we do understand that you want certainty during these very uncertain times. As we've heard President Crow talk, though, the coronavirus is here to stay and our efforts must be to remain vigilant, and we have to remain resilient. We also acknowledge that changing the schedule is stressful and it's something we prefer not to do. So we're monitoring the situation very carefully and will follow the recommended health guidelines in making decisions about the academic calendar. As soon as decisions are made, we will communicate them with you.
Thank you, Dr. Corey. Dean Aska, can I still apply to live on campus in the spring? And is it only for first-year students?
So the answer is yes, students can still apply to live on campus for the spring semester. We do have housing available for upperclassmen and first-year students. So they can apply, they just need to go to their MyASU and go into the housing portal, and they'll be able to follow the instructions there. And certainly if they have questions, they could definitely give us a call. We could give them additional information.
And it's not only for first-year students, correct?
It is not only for first-year students.
Great. Will students, Dean Aska, this one's for you also. Will students still be required to submit a daily health check in the spring?
Yeah, so one of the things that we've noticed is really important is that we continue, as Dr. Corey say, remain vigilant on the behaviors that we know that contribute to stopping the spread. And we consistently are communicating to every member of our community, wash hands, stay home if you're not feeling well, utilize ASU health services when needed. We have a great, telemedicine, telecounseling services that students can access. And our daily health check is another tool that we utilize in order to help all of us remain vigilant and aware of our own well-being. So the answer to that is yes. Students will continue to be required to submit their daily health check. As what is happening in a lot of other spaces, we continue to learn and we continue to evolve in understanding ways in which we could operate. And so to that degree, for students who are not on campus, our technology office has created some new options, calendaring options on the MyASU app that students can look into utilizing as well. So if they know they're not on campus, that's something that they could access. But all students that are on campus or individuals coming to campus will be required to continue to submit their daily health check in the spring. And so we're thankful. This is a positive thing that we want to continue to do, along with wearing our face coverings and remaining physically distant from individuals. And that's just part of our norm so that we can continue to advance our, experience here within the university.
I'm keeping an eye on the live Q&A, Dean Aska, and there's a follow-up question to this one, which is, do you have to do the daily check during winter break?
If you are on campus with us, the answer is yes. And this is where the MyASU app has a new calendaring function that you could pre-submit if you're not going to be on campus. You could set that in your phone, and then you will not receive the message to complete on the day that you are not on campus.
Thank you.
I will say this though, Michelle, even if you're not on campus, it's a great reminder to just be thinking about, your health and your well-being. So it's a great tool that the university has been able to develop, and it could be used wherever you are at, because again, we want to be mindful of, our community of care is not only isolated to our university, but it's everywhere any Sun Devil is occupying.
Absolutely. It's a good reminder. So Dean Aska, I know when we moved in the fall semester, we had students who had to provide a negative test in order to be able to move into the residence halls. If they are living on campus this spring, will they need to get a COVID-19 test before the semester begins?
The answer to that question is yes. And if we can move to the next slide, I'm happy to share more details with our audience. So all of our ASU students living in university housing must submit a negative PCR test between January 2nd and January 10th to be cleared to live on campus housing for the spring semester. Similar to the fall semester, the PCR test that we are requiring our students to complete is the saliva-based or the nasal swab that helps us to determine whether a person has the current virus. So if a person tests and they do not test negative, we ask that they remain home until they are cleared from isolation and quarantine before coming back on campus. And then again, we are sharing here, and it is on multiple websites where students can go get tested locally. And then there's a link to where they can get tested wherever they may be coming from. The only exception, and this is something that we've been sharing with our students throughout the course of the semester, is that if a student has previously tested positive for COVID-19, and in this case, specifically between October 1st and December 31st, and their test result and medical release are on record with ASU Health Services, then they will be exempt from this expectation. So again, students, we are wanting to share this information out early with you so that if this is documentation that's not yet uploaded to your MyASU Health portal, that you have an opportunity to do that before the end of the semester or before you choose to return to the residential halls if you do leave for Thanksgiving and winter break. And then we do know, as shared earlier, that some of our students will continue to stay with us over the winter break. And those students who are staying with us, they should plan to still test on campus between the 2nd and the 4th of January. Students who remain with us during winter break will also continue to be asked to participate, like I said just a minute ago, in our daily health check and our randomized testing regimen that we have here at the university. So again, all of these are tools that we continue to utilize in order to support our community in monitoring the spread of the virus.
I think we have one more slide with some more.
We do. And we were anticipating that this would be, questions that our families and our audience and our students would be asking. So we are asking that Arizona residents that you do test between January 5th and January 7th at one of the sites listed here on the website or any of our campus sites. And then again, if that test does not come back negative, that you remain home until you are cleared. Now, for our out-of-state students, we are asking that you do test prior to traveling back to the university. And then we will ask you to test again upon your arrival through our labs on campus. So you would need, this is similar to our fall semester, you would need to test negative and then upload your results 48 hours prior to your planned arrival to the university. And the test would need to have been taken within 7 days of your arrival to the university. So if you have questions or concerns about that, we will be sending out communication to all of our students living on campus today, which will reiterate this information. And so it'll give you time to look through it, to connect to the different resources available to support you so that you could proactively plan and make the necessary arrangements, and then be able to return to our residential halls if you do leave before January 11th, 2021, which is our first day of classes for the spring semester. So I do want to say this because I anticipate that we also have students who are not living in the residential halls, but please understand we are encouraging everybody to, abide by our community of care and continue to take advantage of the testing sites that we do have on campus. And so we are asking our students who are not living on campus that they should test and obviously test negative for COVID-19 prior to attending any classes on campus upon our return in the spring semester. And then we will continue to engage all of our students both on and off campus to participate in our randomized testing when selected. Again, we will share this information as we've been doing on our websites, and more specifically, our residential students will be receiving additional communication later today.
Thank you, Dean Aska. I know that was a lot of information, and so I know students and families will appreciate getting that email, and if they have any questions, they can certainly follow up with the Dean of Students as well. I think we have one more question here, so I just want to remind people that they can put their questions in the Q&A when we're almost at that live point. And so so if you have questions, you can go ahead and start getting them in while we're answering this last question, which Dean Aska, how will ASU support me if I am someone who tests positive for COVID-19?
Absolutely. We have learned a lot with our students and with our families over the course of the fall semester. So we certainly appreciate all of the input and feedback that students and families were able to give us. With that, we will continue to provide our students with who we call an engager. So these are individuals that are part of our professional team, and they will contact you, the student, if you do test negative, if you're in isolation or quarantine, that we will reach out to you and be a connector to you. We know that sometimes students want to be guided on how to communicate with their faculty, or if they are employed, what do they do about that, or if they need additional resources. So please, students, if you are asked to isolate or be in quarantine, please connect with the Dean of Students office and we will get you connected with a person. Their title is called Engager. The other component is that we continue to be able to provide our students with support through our ASU Health Services. So again, if students have questions about how they're feeling, it's really important that they use our telemedicine services on campus so that they could get their questions answered and be able to receive guidance about their well-being and their medical condition. The other component that is really important is sometimes, students may want to connect with peers during this time that they may want to have additional conversations and so forth. So always looking at our ASU counseling services with support from Devils to Devils and everything. So there are resources there. We just need to know. And then we're able to connect our students and provide them with the support that they may need. So we're ready to move forward to support our students because we know they want to be here. We know that they want to continue to engage in their classroom experience, and they can do that virtually, remotely, while they are isolating and quarantining, and then getting support from the Dean of Students office.
Great, thank you. So now we're gonna go to the live Q&A. So I have the first live question I have is from Austin, who's a sophomore at the downtown campus. And I think his question, is for both Dean Aska and Dr. Corey, which is that he says that some of the resources were limited this semester. And will that change next semester with the rise of COVID cases? So maybe Dr. Corey can start out talking a little bit about the academic changes, if any.
Sure, there's two dimensions to that question. Now, we're offering resources through remote technologies, right? So many of the resources are still there. So take advantage of the remote. If you're talking about in-person technologies, you're absolutely right. in-person resources is that we really need to monitor CDC guidelines as we offer those. Now, did you say, I think, Michelle, did you say the student, Austin, is in sports journalism?
He didn't say his major is just at the downtown campus.
Okay.
Mhm.
Be sure to contact your advisor, your academic advisor, and your dean's office to find out what resources are available in your own college. Always good to connect with your advisor to find out what resources you need and how we can get them to you.
Great. And Dean Aska, do you want to talk at all about the Dean of Students resources that are available at all locations?
Yes, those are available to our students. We know that students, even during this Thanksgiving break, may need some resources to support them, and we are making ourselves available even through the break. So, if there are some specific resources, Austin, that were limited that we could follow up on specifically, we'd be happy to do that. To Dr. Corey's point, we are always monitoring the conditions, and so we may make some decisions to pivot when necessary, but I think it would be helpful if there is something more specific that we could be intentional about connecting with you and providing additional information.
Thank you. Dr. Corey, I think the next one's for you from Jack. And he says, a lot of my classes were supposed to be hybrid in the fall and all of them ended up being online. Will this be the same next semester?
No, we have fixed that problem. We did too many last minute changes and at the start of the fall semester, and I apologize for that, and we're not making that same mistake in the spring. The schedule you are looking at now should be, there might be some exceptions if somebody encounters a health condition, but the courses should remain as posted in the spring schedule.
Thank you. And Dr. Corey, this next one's for you as well from Adrian. Will Adrian have a chance at doing an internship, even if it's remote, during the spring semester?
Yes, again, contact your academic advisor, but we have a wide range of resources, both through the academic units and career and professional services, and through Study Abroad Office. We're offering international internships through the Study Abroad Office. They're remote, of course, but that could be a very fun opportunity. So absolutely, if you plan on doing an internship in the spring, touch base with your advisor, contact Career and Professional Services, and contact Study Abroad, explore your options, and really discover your potential through an internship using remote technologies.
Great. Dean Aska, Laura wants to know, is the official ASU mobile app the best way to get firsthand and up-to-date information on announcements regarding the spring semester?
I like that question, and I'm going to do twofold. I'm actually going to pitch it to Quinlan first, because I think from a student perspective, I think it'll be really great to hear from Quinlan where she gets her information, and then I'm sure if there are other resources, I'm happy to share after Quinlan.
So yes, I think the ASU app does have a lot of great information on it, especially with getting to your health portal. And every day there are different announcements that come through the app that are useful to students. I know I get specific announcements to my academic college through the mobile app as well. So those notifications are helpful to me. And then also what I said earlier, I think the Sun Devil Sync website is another one that's a great resource for you. Depending on what you're looking for, the mobile app can take you to wherever else you need to find your information, which is why I think that that's like the main place that you should go for information. And then that app can lead you to our other resources that are available through ASU.
Great. Thanks, Quinlan. And if you're looking for specific updates on the virus, then we do have an official page, the coronavirus page, that provides links to additional information, but more specifically, any and all communication that we send out from the university to students is also archived on that page. So you could look through and see all of the past communication that has been received. For example, about 2 weeks ago, the deans of students on each of the campuses sent a communication about testing again and preparing for Thanksgiving break. So I would also recommend that you go to our coronavirus main web page for the university to remain updated on information.
Great. Thank you. Dean Aska, there's a couple questions I'm going to paraphrase from people anyone who is experiencing financial hardship due to the coronavirus, where do they go to get assistance?
Sure. So I will offer two specific resources here as a starting point. One is our Financial Aid and Scholarship Office is always a resource for students to go to and to explore what options may be available to them. On our university website, we also have a page that's titled Special Circumstances that students and family members can also review and determine whether or not those special circumstances may be applicable to them. And then there are instructions that they could follow with regards to providing additional information to the institution for review of their finances. Another office, and sometimes students are still having more questions that they are trying to have answered. You can also reach out to the Dean of Students office. We have a phenomenal student advocacy and assistance team that works across all locations. And so that team of individual may be helpful to you in answering specific questions about your situation, and also may be able to help refer you not only to our Financial Aid and Scholarship Office, but also resources through our website, whether it's scholarships through your colleges or some additional loans and or additional funds that may be available. So I would say you can start with those two offices for additional information.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Dr. Corey, can you talk about whether there's been discussions around adjusting tuition during these different course delivery times?
Sure, I think a lot of people are talking about tuition. We are not in a position to be reducing tuition. I think there's a lot of misinformation out there as well, that this is not, using all of these technologies is not saving us any money. I mean, our expenses have actually gone up rather dramatically. We've invested millions and millions of dollars in the technologies and keeping our efforts to keep students on track to graduation. So we are offering the courses students need, and we've not changed the learning outcomes. We've changed the learning modalities, but we are not changing learning outcomes. And so we are making every effort to keep up the pace and adapt. And it's costing quite a bit of money, but it's worth it. It's worth it for all of us, because a well-educated society is beneficial to all of us. And so we keep investing, and we want you to graduate. We really want you to graduate and go forth and help make this world a better place.
Thank you, Dr. Corey. The next question, I think, is for both Dean Aska and Quinlan, which is, how can students continue to connect while following COVID guidelines?
So I think for that question, we've talked about a lot of our events that are on campus as well as virtual. I think now is the perfect time to use all those ASU resources to connect to other students. Especially over break, when you're home and not on campus, when you are back on campus, but maybe you are only living with one other person and you want to connect with other people. All of our events are, again, follow those guidelines. And so I think that's a great way to connect with people, is through events, whether you're comfortable going in person or you rather be virtual. All of our events are created with that in mind. That's what one of my main goal is as president of the Program Activities Board. That's one of my main goals, is to help foster those connections between students. I know that a lot of the other student organizations as well really focus on those connections between students. I think as well, using the Double to Double support groups are a great way to connect to other students on campus. And then I think just those ASU resources are the best way to find those connections. And obviously now is a great time to have those connections when all of us might be feeling a little bit more alone than usual.
I appreciate Quinlan's answer, and I think that's a great opportunity over this winter break to definitely look at all of the student organizations and even look at what the activity level has been over the past semester and see what may interest you, and start to ask questions about those student organizations and reach out to those peers who are the leaders of those organizations for the spring semester and asking them when's their first meeting. So that you can mark it on your calendars and see if it fits in your academic schedule for the spring semester. The other thing, and this is one of the benefits that we have, is that we are in Arizona. So I have enjoyed, when I am walking on campus, to see students just sitting outside, and students are taking advantage of possibly taking their classes outside, or eating outside and so forth. And so I think that's a great way of also connecting with individuals. If you've seen me on campus, I may have stopped you and, remain physically distant with my face covering on, but really just touching base because you're there to say, how you doing and what are you doing? So I just want to encourage individuals to utilize the outdoors as much as possible and definitely learn about the opportunities through Sun Devil Sync, as Quinlan has been sharing. And then if you have new ideas, please, this is a great opportunity, send Quinlan an email, right, for Program and Activities Board and say, hey, this is what worked for me, or this isn't what worked for me, but here's what my suggestion is. And I know Quinlan and the PAB Board is always looking for input from students about how we can continue to engage.
Great. Dean Aska, we have a follow-up question from someone. You had said previously that students who don't live on campus or who didn't get tested with us can still reach out to the Dean of Students office. And so the person is asking, how do you report that you need assistance?
Sure. So Dean of Students at asu.edu. It's right now on the slide above under the reminder that you can email us at that email address, and then one of our student advocates will follow up with you. So that's a great way to start. You can always email me as well, cassandra.aska@asu.edu.
Great, thank you. I'm going to do a last call here for any other questions in our Q&A. We seem to have gotten to all of them, which is great. Thank you so much for asking such good questions. I'm going to give each of our panelists just a moment to wrap up and share any last thoughts that they have as our students and families get ready to end the semester and look forward to the spring. So Dean Aska, do you want to start off with a couple of closing comments?
Sure. We have stayed focused on figuring out how to continue to provide the best experience during these unprecedented times. And so we do appreciate all of the collaboration, the communication, and the connection with our students and with our families. Throughout the course of the semester, we continue to learn and evolve in how we continue to do this better. And that is because of you, students, who want to continue to pursue your education and to have an experience within the college environment. And so we are committed to thinking through critically how we continue to do that so that you can have the best experience possible. And while it may look different than how it's been talked about historically, that this experience is just as beneficial to you to grow personally, to grow professionally, to expand your thinking intellectually, to access experiences, even though you may be engaging through a different modality, that you're still gaining, internship and employment opportunities and social connections. So we're continuing to work diligently in order to make those opportunities available to you in the best possible way. So I want you all to enjoy this break that you're about to have. Certainly good luck on your finals and enjoy Innovation Quarter. And again, looking forward to having you here with us spring 2021. It's important. We're aiming to get you here, to get you graduated, and to have you have the best possible experience possible. Thank you, Michelle.
Dr. Corey, any final thoughts for our students?
I would love to follow up on what Dean Aska is saying. The need for an education has never, ever, ever been more important. I'm talking to each and every one of you students, and I wish I could talk to each and every one of you individually. We need you. We need you. If you're an art major, I don't think we've ever needed the arts more than we have needed them right now. If you are studying history, what a great time to be studying history. If you're studying health, you can see how important what you are studying is to our society. Our economy is in need of repair, and if you're studying business, you are going to be a part of the solution. No matter what you're studying in the sciences, in the humanities, the fine arts, the professional disciplines, we have never needed you more. So this is very weird times. I know that. It's weird for the faculty, it's weird for the staff, it's weird for you as students, and I think it's weird for parents too, right? But that's no reason to give up. We have to stay with it, and we have to encourage all of our friends and our siblings to stick it through, because we need the education now more than ever. And actually, Quinlan, we have never needed teachers more than we have needed them now. So I'd love to hear what keeps you going as you pursue your degree in education.
I think just like Dr. Corey and Dean Aska are saying, now is so important in education. And I agree that teachers are very important now, and as well as everyone in all of our different majors and disciplines. I think something that I want to say to everyone as well is to try to find your motivation over this break. Take some time for your mental health, for your sanity through this time, to keep yourself on track for your education, as well as keep asking questions to the university, to the Dean of Students office, to your different departments. ASU is here for all of us during this time. And I want to emphasize the fact that they're here to answer your questions as well. And so even over break and through the changes, that to still ask those questions and try to get involved wherever you can on campus as well.
Great, thanks, Quinlan. And before we wrap up, Dean Aska, we had a late breaking question. I'm going to bring you in, but it's super important, which is that what about students who are here over the Thanksgiving break and looking for that Thanksgiving dinner? Can they find it on campus when?
The answer is yes. We are happy to share with our students and our families that students can enjoy a Thanksgiving dinner at one of our dining facilities on each of our campus locations between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. So students, you should see that around the dining halls and around the marketplaces, our Thanksgiving hours of operation, and you'll have a wonderful sign that says Thanksgiving dinner served at this location. And so we, encourage you to come out and enjoy that meal celebrate however which way you can. There might be a Zoom Thanksgiving gathering with your family members if you are here, but we know that each person is making the best decision for themselves, for their academics, and for their families. And so we appreciate that, and that's another way in which we're supporting. And then as you transition from Thanksgiving to your finals and you choose to travel, please continue to test and take advantage of the free test that we do have at the university. So thank you.
Well, thank you to our panelists, and thank you to all of the folks who asked great questions. We're excited about the spring semester and look forward to welcoming you back in whatever form you choose to experience ASU. As we said, you can send any other questions to Dean of Students at asu.edu. And this webinar will be posted on the website if you'd like to share it with others. And so the Q&A team will stay on the webinar for a few moments if you have any questions, but thank you and have a great afternoon, everyone.
Thank you.